New Year's. Happy New Year's, Gemini. This is Luciani. I'm here to give you your weekly spiritual advice. Thank you guys so much for coming to the channel. We're just going to just move right into it. So, Spirit guides, please, what are Gemini's spiritual advice for January 7th to January 14th, 2019? Just for Gemini. It is. Okay. Mm-hmm. This spiritual advice is saying there is a big increase coming your way with this Ten of Pentacles, and woo, that's beautiful. Every time I see that coming to read, I just be so like, woo, it's a beautiful, beautiful energy. You started with this Five of Cups in the reverse. Some of you guys are coming out of something that was very, very heavy. You got these new expectations that are coming in, these hopeful new alliances, this new hope. Some of you guys, there's a return of an old friend that comes out of the blue. There's just new expectations here. And with the Wheel of Fortune card here in the time sector, what goes on is that yes, there is a new beginning. There's a new cycle that's being presented to you guys. With the Two of Swords here, in the present time, it's kind of like you're having this very ambivalent nature. Some of you guys, it's kind of like going back and forth for your mind. Um, Others of you is kind of again going back and forth for your mind, making sure that you want to take the best path for yourself. There's some sort of truce that's going on here. You just kind of like get into a truce in a situation, whether it's a marriage situation or family. You guys are just kind of like trying to balance everything out. Whatever truce this is that you just had with, say, someone else, then it just starts this beautiful new cycle in you guys' life. Because in the future sector, you just had this Queen of Swords energy, which is, you, Gemini, like this Queen of Swords energy, where you could be adopting this energy or with another air sign, Aquarius or Libra, but for the most part, with that Queen of Swords energy is someone who's very, very intelligent. For others of you guys, that Queen of Swords energy is kind of like someone could possibly be a widow. For others of you guys, it's some sort of separation. You got some of you guys are looking to be with child. But for others of you, some of these truces that you're trying to create to start this new cycle because you want to have a new alliance with someone. At the same time, this could be like you also come into this decision of I might need to separate because now I have to see that these crows aren't being in a truce. It's like temporary. You starting to realize like some of these truces or like these different like okay, let's try to come together for balance sake to start new cycles, but and new beginnings. But for the most part, you always at the end of the day see that it's always temporary. It's not long lasting. So you always come to this understanding of, oh man, I need to probably separate. Others of you guys, it's just kind of like you're just kind of staying within yourself and being private because of these temporary balances. So let's move forward. Nine of Wands here in the reverse. Some of you guys are, I would just say, you guys are thinking about some obstacles that are going on. Some of you guys are really feeling very displeased. For the most part, you're seeing these, again, these temporary truces and temporary balance beams that are supposed to be starting these new beginnings because you want to come into like an alliance with with people, with his family, whether it's relationship, whether it's job related, work related, in a relationship with businesses and business partners. You guys always want to keep coming to this truce level, but it's temporary because you keep coming back to this beautiful higher mind of self. Like it's still not, like you're displeased. And you're just at this point of like, okay, I might have to separate. Um, but moving forward with the Seven of Wands here in the reverse, it's again, it's you feel embarrassed. Um, you guys again might be having some sort of indecision to separate from something that's really displeasing you, that was supposed to be aligned and have this alliance and expectations out of it, but then to create these new cycles. But there is a cycle that's going on around. I also see a cycle of you always giving it another go around or having this truth level, and then it just becomes displeasing for you, and because of the obstacles that it has in relation to with it. I'm also, again, there's some sort of indecision about creating a new alliance with someone to create this new beginning with, because you're seeing that you might be seeing something that somebody else might see. Um, I would say for others of you with this indecision that you feel like you can have this new beginning with someone, but there's some sort of level of displeasure from it. It also could be the fact that it might be too complex. Um, it might be like a complexity behind it that causes like these different, again, perplexities and complex situations that it could be definitely new alliances here. That's what you keep referring back to. That's why it seems like a true cycle here, because of the fact that you you are going back to the cycle of, well, I can have this new beginning with this person. I can have this new alliance with my family. I can have this try this out again type of energy with job related or what have you. You guys come into these temporary truces, but then you just it ends up being complex, perplexed, complex, displeasurable. But spirit guides are saying, don't worry, there is a big old increase here for you. Okay, Gemini, there is a big, big, big increase. Whether you guys are running into some sort of inheritance, for others of you, this is definitely some sort of influence, prosperity, some sort of like really great business deal. You guys could have just came into a new home, got something like that's equity based. That's really that I'm seeing here. And with the Five of Swords here, there's you might be recalling on something that seems like it's unstable. Others of you with this Five of Swords here, it's kind of like this whole thing where someone is like kind of dishonorable. You might be reflecting on some loss of privileges or some sort of defeat, dishonor, loss of privileges. But for the most part, you might be all displeased and feeling defeated. And with the with the Three of Wands here, and in reverse, it's kind of like you feel like you're not able to really gain great footing to start some new journeys in your life within self. Others of you This could possibly be aware, like bewaring you, or be wearing, not be wearing. That's not even a word, but I guess I could create it a word. But kind of beware of any help that's being offered to you. Um, just be keep in mind, like whatever footing you have, wealth related, or what kind of like financial situation you do have, be mindful that yes, you can always have an increase, but it could always at the end of the day be slipped away. Um, just being really mindful, and it might be slipping away from the fact that you guys keep going through this cycle. Okay, so at the end of it, we have the Eight of Wands, which are quick messages, quick, passionate encounters, a falling of love, an increase. There is a lot of going on. I just see a constant cycle that keeps coming up. And it seems like you have this decision that you have to make that's causing you really like going back and forth with it. And it's very complex. I don't see it being an easy decision. I don't see it being an easy decision um, at all. Like I said, with that Three of Wands there in the reverse, you really got to be mindful of your pride and arrogance um, so that you can also keep the peace and truce, like really keep the truce, but there's something a little bit more complex and perplexed with the situation that keeps going through this new cycle and then kind of complete, like kind of coming around with you feeling like sad. With the Four of Earth that comes out, hold on, let me get them all together. With the Eight of Water in reverse. Okay, something that gave you this stability, okay? Something that Four of Earth is traditionally the Four of Pentacles. So there's some sort of somebody who's very stubborn, somebody who doesn't really share nothing too much of their own, and it's kind of like it's like somebody clinging, and with that Eight of Water, you guys could be possibly clinging onto some sort of feasting or some sort of joy that really is a loss. Now, for others of you, what I see is someone's clinging onto their ego too much that's preventing joy to enter their 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 spiritual and mental body. With the Eight of Air in the reverse, someone's clinging on to the like the egotism and our stubborn behavior and our selfish behavior, and because of that, we might be blocking ourselves from prosperity and joy. Somebody who's just very selfish, to be honest with you, someone who's very selfish and deceitful. And if this is you, you're blocking your blessings, Gemini. Okay. Be very mindful of, again, pride and ego and stubbornness. Because if you don't, and deceitful, because if that's the case, you're clinging on to that. And you're not realizing that's interfering with the joy, because these two cards is here, the cleanliness and the ego clinging to our selfishness. It's interfering with our joy in the middle. And I'll just pull one more card to kind of even clarify this. But let's see. With that Eight of Cups, you are displeased. And with that Eight of Water, which is Eight of Cups in the reverse, with the that's so interesting. You You're disappointed in love. You're just disappointed, and there's also been a rejection that had to happen, whether someone rejected you or you rejected somebody else. But for the most part, a rejection was made here because of the fact that someone needs to really put their pride, ego, and like the whole manipulative like type of energies aside so that they can have this adamant growth. um, so that's what I see, guys. You guys do have a new beginning here, a new cycle here. If that's your energy, watch the ego and pride. If that's somebody else, you really do might have to get into the situation where you separate yourself from them for just a while. If this is only a weekly reading, but separating yourself from that person just so that they can kind of get their stuff together, because you do have an increase. There is a balance that can be made here that can leave you and that other person in an increased state, but you guys have to be in a state of receiving that, receiving it, and it's always going to come around. The opportunity is always going to present itself. That's the cool part. The opportunity is always going to present themselves because the messages are going to just come in quick. Others of you just, y'all is in some passionate love that you guys are going through your cycles of displeasure, but you still at the end of the day love each other. Okay, so thank you guys for coming to this channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace to you. Bye.